In the immortal words of Johnny from The Room, I want to take a second and say, hey everybody, let's have a chat about BookTube right now. So for a long time, I have said BookTube is the best community on the internet. Now I'm starting to wonder. Not only have I been attacked by various booktubers and commenters, probably the nicest guy in the history of the world, Liam from Liam's Lyceum, got a hate comment calling the science fiction he reads brain dead, and the fact that he enjoyed it and was moved by it speaks negatively on his intelligence. What is going on? Now, I know a lot of people don't like my negativity, but at the end of the day, this channel is dedicated to literary criticism. Maybe if it was all guinea pigs and Pokemon, it would be nothing but positivity. But I'm not someone who's just going to sit here and give you positive reviews and blow smoke up an author's ass. And while that's a very common thing to do on BookTube, there are a lot of people who do it. They don't... Are you seeing my glasses like trailing? That's interesting. They don't like being called out for it. The indie book tag came out and spread around, and many of them who I have called out for doing this exact same thing have admitted to judging indie books differently. So, yeah. Recently also, a booktuber was invited to be the host or one of the judges for the SBFBO finals, but then someone said that they saw his review of a certain book and how it was negative, and it was said that indie authors tend to be a little bit more like sensitive to criticism, so he was uninvited to be a host, or not a host, a judge. And there was a conversation on a Discord where some people were like, no, you're exactly what SPIFBO needs. I love that I call it SPIFBO now, by the way. And not, at first, when I first started looking into it, I'd have to be like, SPFBO, like count all the ones. But no, you're exactly what SPIFBO needs. You're someone who'll shoot straight. And they're like, this isn't an indictment of other SPIFBO judges, but I honestly feel like too many reviewers are often too quick to praise self-bub because the authors are part of the community, which is a problem. And I actually talked to Britain about this on some Okie Dude about my fervent belief that authors need to stay away from reviewers. And I got a hate DM that talked about this, and this particular person said that authors and reviewers need each other to survive, and that is true, but we don't need to come together as part of the community. We need to be separate but equal. I hate that term, but you know what I mean. Separate. And I was told not to tar all authors with the same brush. Come on. It's kind of like how we say not all men, but enough that it's a problem, so just don't do it. Authors, if I was an author, like I am an author, but like with stuff on Goodreads, I'd probably read my reviews too, but I don't think I'd talk about them, like on social media. I'd probably screenshot them if I got one that really annoyed me. I'd probably screenshot it and just send it in a group message to a bunch of my friends, and we would make fun of them privately. I definitely would not bring my readers into it. And I want to address the myth that it's hard to get traditionally published as well. That's actually not true. It's not like hard to where you have to be a certain type of writer or you have to have a certain skill set. It's hard to wait because it takes time. Like a day, agents get a stack as big as this post-it notes of queries, and you are just not that important to them. Like, they've got a job to do, and they go through one by one, and that's why sometimes you'll get form rejections, because they just don't have time. And you've got to wait. And patience is something that I really admire. I just think BookTube is becoming nasty. And I've heard that every 3 or 4 years it kind of gets this way. But there was a live stream that I was in the chat about how people are losing subscribers left and right and are getting chastised for not posting enough. And evidently, it's taking a toll on people. And let's be honest, hate comments are not fun. Yeah, people don't like getting that kind of stuff. I mean, it's not gonna like destroy their lives or anything, but it may ruin their day. And it tars BookTube. BookTube used to be an amazing community, and now it's getting a little bit toxic. Like, I wonder if AuthorTube is as toxic as it used to be. It used to be a really toxic environment, but I wonder. I don't really like AuthorTube that much because a lot of the authors on there are not teachers, they're just authors themselves. So maybe if you just document your own writing process, that'd be different. But I think it's kind of dangerous to give advice when you're not like a qualified teacher. And also, a lot of the advice that they give is kind of like generic. But also, I mean, a lot of them aren't good authors, I've heard. And I think people are too hard on AuthorTubers about being bad authors. But also, that's where the trouble comes in with AuthorTube, because they're claiming to be authors, which I guess they are, but I think if people kind of expect you to be able to be really good at what you teach, but teaching and doing are two totally different skills. So this is just a rambly video where I talk about the state of BookTube and how I think it's getting nasty, and how I think we need to just chill a little bit. I think booktubers need to take a step away from authors, or else it's just going to get worse. So I am not going to take a break from BookTube. I don't think I ever will take a break from BookTube. Will I ever take a break from calling booktubers out? I don't know. I know I get a lot of negativity, like criticism for doing that. Maybe it's not my place, but liars really bother me. And encouraging people to do certain things that may not benefit them bother me, and I see booktubers doing that. A lot of booktubers are teachers, and also, funnily enough, a lot of booktubers have quit teaching recently. But BookTube's a big place. I'm sure there are less negative environments, but I mean, look at poor Haley. She had an author like basically write torture porn about her or something, and authors need to stay away. Obviously, we can't take responsibility for somebody else's behavior, but I think you are kind of cultivating an environment where AuthorTubers see reviewers as more human, which we are, but we don't need to be that to authors. We don't need to be their friend. I don't need to be my student's friend. It's just inappropriate, and it leads to drama, which we do not need. That's what we have the books for. We want the book drama. We don't need BookTube drama. Love everybody on here for the most part. If you interact with me, I love you. And guys, BookTube has made a big difference in my students' lives because of all the books I found on here. The lack of access to books in my district is appalling and shocking. Here are some pictures of books I personally bought, or the empty shelves in our library. So there you go. If you want to donate any books to me, that would be great. I'll send you an address, and I'll see you next time. Bye.